Hey, welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show on.
Bring him on! It's already started. We're already going.
I mean, listen, man, I'm not trying to say that I'm anybody important, but nobody jumps all over the host quite like Schlegs, AJ. I mean, he's just a guy who loves jumping on dudes. And yeah, before we get into any of the real hardline questioning that we're going to have today, what were your general thoughts on the NFL draft?
Honestly, I thought Green Bay was awesome. I didn't know how it would be, going into it, but they filled that place up 3 days in a row, which was crazy to me. The first night I was there for Thursday, and then I was there Friday during the day. My old coach Mike McCarthy joined us for the first round, and it was awesome to have him.
I saw that.
Have him along for the ride, man. We had dinner with him the night before. Like, it's just so good to be around that guy again.
Did he grab a vape off air? Just the night?
No, he did not. He did not. But he got caught. I should say he didn't get caught. He got shown on camera, politely turning one down, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he turned down the vape from Pat, which was kind of surprising. I mean, my man Pat
he hasn't turned down any pizzas or hamburgers.
Whoa.
Whoa!
He said he wants to come to the armory. Slags, and get working. Maybe do some powerlifting with you
and see what his visceral fat is.
Oh,
I'm not judging anybody.
No, of course not.
He's getting prepared to fight a gorilla or something.
Probably.
Maybe he is the gorilla. So Green Bay was an awesome host. I think people were worried, like, how good is it going to be in Green Bay, Wisconsin? I mean, you live there, and I told people, we came up a couple times over the 4th of July and hung out. It's like, there's not a lot to do. I asked AJ, where can we go for dinner? So I could, thank you and buy you dinner for coming up. You're like, Bob, we don't really go out to dinner a whole lot here. Do more in-home dining with the friends. Your boy Nick Barnett up there riding some jet skis and doing some tubing. It was a lot of fun. I think Spence maybe even come over. It was a wild time and some good times as well. But, Green Bay was a great host. A lot of Buckeyes end up going in the first round there. I know it was a late night. I mean, your thoughts on kind of maybe the Ohio State draft where you saw some of the guys go, potential fits, do you not?
Yeah, I mean, at first, I think Will Howard going to the Steelers right there, I think that was a great pick by the Steelers. I think Will Howard could definitely turn out to be a really good pro quarterback. So I think it'll be a cool situation. Whatever happens in Pittsburgh, whoever starts the season, whatever is going on, I don't know. But I think the Steelers are smart for getting him and Jack Sawyer. It's good. Seems like a great fit for both of those dudes. But 14 guys drafted? Is that right, Bob? Yeah. We had 14 guys. I know they were trying to either tie or break the record possibly, but I thought it was kind of wild just overall with the draft. Like Quinn Ewers goes in the 7th round. I wouldn't have guessed that coming in. I don't know. And I thought there was a lot of really good players that went undrafted or went much later than you would have think. So it definitely was a deep draft. And people, they use the old, what was the saying? People are saying this is a starters, not a star draft, meaning what's really deep with guys that are going to play a lot, but maybe not be making tons of highlight plays. I don't know how you could predict that, but yeah, I think there's a lot of good dudes, but there's a lot of good guys that went later than expected, I think.
Let's ask you this. Do you have any insight? Because Will Howard went to the Steelers, and there's only 3 guys in there, the helmet swinger, another guy, and Will. Do you have any insight as to who potentially veteran quarterback Pittsburgh's looking at?
I mean, they've been talking about having Aaron Rodgers come on over. I don't know. I have no idea if he's going to go there or not. I don't know what his plans are going to be, but geez, it seems like it would be a great fit, doesn't it? I hope he goes there. I don't know if he will or not, but I hope he plays somewhere this year. And I'm not sure. Pittsburgh seems like top of the list.
Is it true or false that the McAfee show and you guys are going down to shoot the 4th episode of Enigma at the Mother Iowa retreat this year down in South America?
That's not on the docket yet. I mean, who knows? Things can change on an instant, but that's wild world. That's it's taken off. Like people all over the place seem to be going and taking these spiritual retreats, they call them. So he's not the only guy. I know there's other guys in the NFL that have done it as well and kind of documented. Jordan Poyer, Buffalo Bills, Dolphins guy. He's done it a few times, I believe. But I think Schlegs is going to be running. Schlegs is almost a shaman by now, I think.
Yeah. So calm.
I got a question. Hey, so people leaving money on the table, are we going to start seeing a trend of guys staying in school longer? Because there was a big gap between some people saying, oh, he could be a 2nd-round pick, 1st-round pick, and then a 5th round. And then now in college with NIL, do you think that we're going to start seeing more kids stay in school?
I think it's possible for sure. I mean, if people say you put your after your junior year or something, you can send your info in or you can apply to see like where they'll give you a range of where you possibly could get drafted. And if they're telling you you're a late third, fourth, fifth, sixth rounder, who knows, they're not really sure. And you saw like what happened this year with quarterbacks, especially. Why wouldn't you come back if a school is going to offer you $1 million, $2 million to be a starting quarterback and get to play in college another year? I think, yeah, we could see some guys at all the positions that possibly stay. But I guess, yeah, it's going to be interesting over the next 5 to 10 years, kind of see how the drafts turn out and what people actually do.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, because these guys, they do well. It's funny, it was a good time in the Woody this week because it's discretionary. A lot of the guys are gone, but the drafted guys are all back. So it's almost like an NFL offseason where you're working out with what you want to your level of intensity. And so it's a little more chill. And then see some of the current players come in, and some of the guys that went on the third day were joking that, they're making less than their college teammates are, which, at similar positions, which is probably fairly true to a certain extent. And it's a great time. Would you have traded, AJ, your college experience as you know it to be for probably a more pale, watered down experience with the guys, what they have now, but essentially selling that for the NIL dollars?
Man, no, I wouldn't trade my college experience for anything. Like there's not a dollar amount or anything that I would have changed. I think it all happened the way it should have happened, the way it's supposed to happen, I guess. I'm glad I was there all 4 years, got to play with you guys and hang out and make lifelong friends. And yeah, everyone's situation is different, I guess, obviously. But with the time that we were in school and how everything was and how lucky we were to have Coach Tressel and the rest of that staff and the guys, yeah, like, no, I wouldn't trade anything.
I mean, because I feel like maybe you wouldn't have been able to go to the Memorial Tournament back then in the same manner of which you visited with camera phones around. Do you think that's an accurate assessment?
Yeah, we're in I guess our era, like our age, where we were in a great era to where, yeah, we had phones in college. We didn't really have like everyone wasn't connected like they are now. There were people using Facebook and all that, but it wasn't instant. Like, hey, here's what's going on. Because yeah, I think anybody could have found themselves in some tough situations if everything that they did as a college student was being documented. I understand. That's why I feel for these kids when they get in trouble for little minor things that people make a huge deal. I'm like, were you not 20, 21 years old at some point in your life with all your buddies in college? Like, yeah, things happen sometimes.
Yeah, things
Go
ahead, Schleiss.
I was gonna ask you this, and Bob, I know you want to go a different direction, but I go back and look like to what Bob said, like if you would have left after that junior year, like the entire summer and the things that we did and all the amounts of golf that we
would have never met Laura is the biggest thing.
100%. Not going to even go into that story, but like that would never
might have turned to dudes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I said, AJ, it's a beautiful mystery.
Well, that's not exactly a beautiful mystery, at least from my standpoint. I don't know exactly how you feel. But yeah, I mean, things happen because that's just how they're supposed to, how it's supposed to happen, I guess. But I think all of us, like us three, were definitely lucky to find ourselves like at Ohio State at the same time, the time frame, the years we were there. Like, yeah, it was like what a great era of college football.
Yeah, we're Zennials. We're Zennials. That's what it is.
You keep saying on this, AJ. The Zennials.
Yeah, I'm tired of it. I don't want to be lumped into the millennial one. So we got our own.
The period, it's like a 6-year period that we all fall into in between like Gen X and the millennials. Because it's kind of like you said, we straddled having phones and like having like PlayStation and stuff like that, but we didn't have a computer in our pocket that could communicate with the entire world. So there's like a 6-year sweet spot that we kind of hit pretty nice where, I mean, if people want to video you like on your phone, you looked like Schlegs, like Bigfoot. You couldn't tell the difference on your 1 megapixel flip phone. Whereas, I mean, now you can count, the amount of hairs that he has on the front of his head that are falling out.
Yeah, I mean, it's different time for these guys, man. It really is. I give them credit. I'm impressed that more guys don't get in trouble or don't have embarrassing things out there. Like, I guess
How about the receiver for Texas? I mean, could that have been you, the guy that didn't get drafted?
What did he do? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain it to him, Schleich?
I don't know.
Safe manner possible.
Yeah, the safest manner possible. He slid into somebody's DMs. They started talking about a specific type of rendezvous that they wanted to participate in, and then she said no. and he continued to do it, and then and therefore now there's
Isaiah
being
Bond is his name. He was not drafted, by
he's
the
a good
way.
player, man. That dude was a good player. I couldn't. One of those
Oh.
guys that I was surprised didn't get drafted.
If you
Well,
would read the, if
there
you
you
read
go.
the, if you read the write up on him, you may not be surprised
Oh, okay.
with what happened. It was there was some consensual stuff that went on, and then I think he went a bit too far, and then he offered payment in return for
Oh, geez.
Services
I had no idea.
rendered.
services rendered, and then she said, "No, I can't believe you did that anyway." And so then they settled on more money, which he never paid her, and then it all got out, obviously.
That's
and
okay. That's on me. I don't know. I don't know where I've been. Yeah, I didn't know what was happening.
yeah, you're gonna want to Google Isaiah Bond and just take a little peek at that, and
Okay.
and see the as good as I tell the guys. I said that can be any one of you. I was joking with it can be any single person. So you got to make sure that you know the people that you're getting in bed and in business with in life, because you have no idea what their boundaries are. I mean, what the expectations are and all of those things. And, you come on here, AJ, and I think you have an idea of where we're always going to go. And it's a nice little meandering journey. But we started talking about this yesterday, and I know that you've probably seen this, and it's the craze of the internet. Is it could 100 dudes take down a gorilla? And people started saying what 100 normal people. And I don't know if 100 normal men could. I honestly would probably take the gorilla. But how many schlegs do you think it would take to be able to take down like a full-grown, not Columbus Zoo silverback, but I'm talking Congo raised bred alpha dog sitting there looking like a pit bull?
So I think I'm on the other side of a lot of people on this. I'm taking the gorilla all day long. Now, that was 100 people. Like if you try to, put together 100, I guess you can kind of handpick people, but 100 schlegs, I might give the schlegs a chance, because I think the first 75 that sacrificed their life for those last like 25, those guys, those schlegs are going to go, and they're going to, some of them will get their arms ripped off and different appendages taken off and eyeballs gouged out. But I think they might eventually get to that silverback, but 100 normal people, no, I don't think they have a chance.
Here's the one other piece of that. I said, number one, whoever's doing it, the back 25 are the ones that got to get the job done, because the front guys, they're just sacrificial lambs. So you have to make certain, AJ, while you're sitting on the bench, that you don't lose your edge as you're watching your boys get their limbs ripped off of them, probably getting their dongs torn off, heads squished like a grape. And so you still have to have that mentality that you're going to run in there like it's kickoff and you're going to go take down a wedge. But once you get there, I said a gorilla's skull, think how thick Schleg's skull is. Now multiply that by like 10. Their neck is like the size of your waist. So are you going to be able to beat it to death, or are you going to be able to choke it out? Because I don't know how else you're taking it down.
I mean, Schleg's can answer, but I mean, maybe Schleg's could try to headbutt it to death, but no, I don't think you're choking it out. I don't think you're beating it to death either, especially with no weapons. If you don't get anything,
the limbs of the fallen.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You could pick up some guy's leg and try to swing it hard
femur
enough to knock that thing out. But I mean, it takes a special couple people to watch, 70, 80 dudes get their arms ripped off and their faces ripped off and their heads punted through the air to continue to run at that gorilla. But I guess Schleg would be the guy.
I like how the fact that we were like giving the gorilla now, like, MMA style of fighting. Like this is something that they're.
He's got superhuman strength. They do have like superhuman strength.
I know how strong they are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're like squashing heads and like.
With one swipe, Schleg, boom, kick your Adam's apple.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I always go back to. I had this Gyp hog dog named Patches. Okay, and the Gyp is a female hog dog. Okay, female. So I remember Patches. She was a solid 30 pounds. But I've seen Patches just literally go up there and bite the balls off on a pig and just set it straight down the ground to where it didn't want to run anymore. And then boom, here I am, flip it over, right? Do my deal. So I'm looking at all my experiences. Like people are going to have to die, man. You're going to have to charge that to winning. But
who's going to be Patches, Schleg? Are you going to be Patches and go bite the meat off of that thing?
There's 100 of me. One of them's going to have to do it.
One of them's going to. Okay, good luck. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm here I will watch. Please put it on pay-per-view. I will pay.
It's like multiplicity. We're going to have multiplicity. And then this is honestly, could you imagine the pay-per-view of that? Then the real question would be how we distribute the funds once we do succeed, like winner take all,
Well, to the winner go the spoils. I even said like with seals, like highly trained. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah,
got to
they got
remember, AJ
Dude, they
Schleich
could snare them. You could use your shirt and like they could like create a snare. They think outside the box. They're
Have you ever
problem
watched,
solvers.
Schleich, have you ever gone on? I know AJ's seen this, the Discovery Channel, where the chimps do like the raids on the other chimp villages and they like rip their dongs off and like take dumps on their back and destroy other chimpanzees who can also, by the way, climb trees and are of equal strength. Like the gorilla is 600 pounds and can do a one-arm pull-up. I don't know any human that can do a one-arm pull-up, let alone one that weighs 600 pounds. Those humans can't even walk. So, like, that's the problem. The asymmetry here in the strength to weight ratio, it will just grab you and throw you. Like, I mean, as you think of the offensive lineman that you went against in the NFL, like Flozo Adams. I watched Flozo Adams tear Jarvis Moss's helmet off and hit him with it in like one fluid motion. And that's just another human being that was like 350 and pretty strong. Like, I can't even imagine what it would be like with something that's a level of primate that we can't even get to.
I'm not doing it. I will not volunteer. So this is one alley or avenue that I don't need to partake, but I do want to watch. Like, so if it does happen, I will watch. It'd probably be over in like some other country, where they have these crazy MMA fights where it's like 4 guys on one.
No, you've seen that. You've seen that. It's like Russia versus Poland, and it's like
it could happen there.
10.
That's where this will probably happen. Yeah.
Well, I think I saw that. I mean, they probably have some of this like elements of it, like blood sport and kickboxer. That was going on in like the ring next door. They had men fighting humans. Now they've got human on human action. It's kind of like the Coliseum. I mean, dude, you want to get a gorilla, tout him into Rome? I mean, they had those tigers popping up against Maximus. Imagine if a gorilla popped out there, like, all right, buddy. By the way, give me your swords. Now it's you and the gorilla. Throw some sand in his face and then dance around a little bit. I got this picture though, AJ. I don't know if 100 men could beat up a gorilla. If we flash this up on the screen, but I mean, what do you think about maybe for Mother's Day getting that for Jude's?
I don't know if that's a great Mother's Day gift, but you know what?
It could be a night shirt. It could be a night shirt.
You're right. There is a mother out there that would very much appreciate this. I don't know if I know that mother out there, but yeah, I mean, this is something. Yeah, you're not a gorilla, but you can't beat off 100 men. I mean, I think there's probably a lot of people that have done this.
Well, I mean, the question is that in one sitting? Is that over the course of a week? I mean, those are all questions that we got to figure out now.
One jerk rate, who knows?
One sitting. It's definitely one sitting.
In one city. That's good. Hey, well, you know what? I'm excited to see you tonight. Schlegs, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you can pop over to I think it might be at the Turf. I'll have to figure out where it is. Schlegs is just right down the street at the Armory, but you're going to see the Carpenter Hawk battle as it's Emerson v. Jones on the Lax tournament, the field tonight. So yeah, come on down. It's a fun time. Are you bringing any of the boys with you?
They actually have their own little game at the same time, so unfortunately not. But it'd be good. I mean, UA is a machine when it comes to lacrosse. That's for sure.
Yeah, their team is pretty good. They're well trained. I didn't even know what lacrosse was growing up, and so now my kids love this stuff. It's just as do yours. AJ, tell the boys to forget practice. We'll get them and Caleb down there, and we'll put them. They've got a little netted area for the wall, and we'll get them. We'll call it man versus gorilla training, and we'll just have them wrestle the whole time.
I mean, that's kind of what they do every day anyway. We have a trampoline. They go out there and just kill each other and pretend like they're shooting at this little basketball hoop we have on there. So yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see if we can skip our game.
So final thing before we get you out of here, and this is something I brought up when I was talking to Bean this morning on my local show. The one thing I think you might have, you could overwhelm the gorilla. And I don't know gorillas like their metabolic rate. Like how are they in good shape? Could you overwhelm them over the course of like 15 minutes where they would get tired because they're so muscular? They need a lot of fuel to sustain that rate.
Yeah, Brad Fleming in the group chat over here on the YouTube channel put that in there. That's what you do. It's kind of like Oregon of the Chip Kelly way back 2014. Run them around the building. We're going to run them around the building, and then you're going to swarm. It's got to be simultaneous. I was even thinking about this, Bob. Like, it really needs to be me back when I was 265.
Oh, God.
Me at 265, what I did, like squat 650, deadlift 750, like that guy, boom, and then you just swarm them.
Hey, Pat,
That's how you gotta get.
we're gonna let AJ go here, but during the break, I want you to find a picture of Schlegs with the Jets, his combine picture.
Oh yeah.
So we can flash that up and let everybody get a look at old Rocco when he has like just the meat just hanging off of his face, like he's got sausages right inside of his gums. Age, appreciate it, sir. Have a fun time with Pat. Tell him we said hello, and maybe pass some vape pens your way. You can get on the train in the future.
Tony,
All right.
yeah, you bring him tonight.
Yeah, Schlegs, I'll be on the lookout, Schlegs, to see if I see any other humans that may want to take on that silverback with you.
I appreciate it. Thanks, bro.
All right, we'll see you guys.
As quickly as he came, he went. Mr. A.J. Hawk. Attention, parents and athletes, protect what matters most with export mouth guards. Trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Hawks do not wear mouth guards because they don't have teeth. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits. Export mouth guards are featured 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber, custom fit to your own unique smile with 3D printed technology. They 3D print that thing right to your grill, so you can get a nice, pretty grill like Tiki Barber there, or even our guy AJ Hawk. Protect those veneers. More protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication. Focus on the game, not on the gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. Coming up next, we're going to talk about what Fat Schlegs looks like and one of the best tattoos that I think Schlegs should get here coming up. All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. Listen, if you like this, appreciate it. Follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, like, subscribe, do all the things that you need to do to keep getting more, so you can keep getting some of this great content. I mean, I don't know where else you're going to be able to find 20 minutes of AJ, Bob, and Schlegs. I mean, basically giving you an unfettered look into what the locker room was like for, the 3 years that Schlegs was there with us. And a peek behind the curtain of those conversations when you're lifting, you're hanging out in the cold tub, when you're peeing on some dude's leg in the shower. Those are all the fun things. And this was the guy that might be able to slay the gorilla, Pat. Throw that up there. Look at that nice, meaty face.
Pat, it was the first one, the very bottom one, Pat, when the hair was the longest. That was year one. That was actually kind of a slimmed down version right there, Bob.
Slimmed down version, Schlegs. You look like you ate yourself now. Like that's like you in a fat suit. Like it doesn't even make sense.
Pat, put the other one up there, Pat. Put the other one up there.
What's the other one? They're not, they're just degrees of bad if you start thinking.
No, that other one was worse. The other one was so
Which
much.
one? The one in the middle or the top one?
No, the very bottom one. The very bottom one.
Oh, the bottom one. Yes, the one when you have the turtleneck on because it accents.
That's what they gave exactly. In my neck meat.
Why are you doing
it? Just overhanging.
Why are you doing your headshot in a turtleneck? Like
I didn't give that. They gave it to me. That was what they gave you.
What did
so I'm like, hey, I want a turtleneck, please. Like, would I ever try to hide the neck meat of that person? No, I still strive to have a big neck.
Big neck, big chest. Oh, there it is.
Look at that guy. I mean, like, honestly, like that thing just like was oozing out the sides. Like that guy right there, neck harness all day, just walked around. People are now rucking, which I've rucked for a long time. My guy, Josh Bryan, has a really good book on rucking. I got my wife into rucking because she doesn't like to train. I'm like, you got to do something. You better ruck. But I was just walking around with neck harnesses back then.
So I don't know if you
honestly, my eyes are like almost swollen shut
because your
from the fatness of my cheekbones.
That's how I get when I get over 250, my face starts swelling, and then your eyes start to look like you're Asian because your face is so swollen that they get squinty on you.
Yeah,
like because you're so
those are so good. So many good times, Bob.
You've overmaxed your frame. Like that's the problem. Like you've got like a Ford Escort right now, and you're trying to tow a boat with it. Like that's what your body was feeling. All right, we're gonna move on from there. I want to pull up that Buckeye tattoo.
Yeah, do it. It's a good one
because this was pretty awesome that I saw here. The Buckeye tattoo We can throw that
Top
up
one.
there.
It's on the top
Guy puts together, it's the full playoff run, man. And if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. Some people get the tattoos with a year on it, like predicting the title, which I don't know how well that works out for everybody. I feel like that might be a little ambitious from time to time when you decide to go all in on a tattoo and maybe it doesn't work. This one, though, Schlegs, it's after the fact because you didn't know your opponents. And so it's got the representation of the duck. It's got the representation of the volunteer. It's got a little Texas Longhorn, and it's got the Irish. So we can toss that up, Pat, when we get that ready to rock here and take a look at it. But it is one, Schlegs. When you saw that, did you have any desire to maybe get that on your other arm?
Not a desire to get that one per se. I have been thinking about some tats for the last, 30 years that I've been wanting to get, hankering to get. My wife doesn't necessarily like them, but I'm so far down the hole I can do whatever I want. But I mean, honestly, I love the fact that he's got the Texas, the Longhorn skull. I like that they're all skulls. I wish it was a leprechaun skull, body, but I mean, whatever. And then the Tennessee Volunteer, I mean, that could have been another guy in a musket, but he has the helmet, so that works. But I enjoy this. And like, I'm looking at, you could tell that Brutus has been through the battles, by his uniform. It's kind of ragged, So I appreciate the detail.
Yeah, it's done pretty well, Schlegs. It is done pretty well.
Just right there on the thigh. And here's the other thing. Guess what? You better do some freaking leg extensions and some squats. You got to keep that up. Make it bigger by growing your quad muscle.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to get back. Ryan Day spoke to the media yesterday it was at least 35, 40 minutes. Did a great job. Super available. We talked to our guy, Bill Bender, how he got the Super 11 Football Writers Association of American Dodgeball Association of everything. Actually, just the FWAA. He got their coach of the year for availability and everything. He was great. Did a great job for him, making sure he talked to everybody. But he talked a little bit about where everyone, the quarterbacks were at going into the spring game and then coming out of the spring game. And I honestly don't know if people still believe him. I'm at a lot of the practices. You go over there, like people ask questions and I try to give like honest answers about what's going on. And we'll break into those answers next of what Ryan Day was able to say. But I want to tell you about a cool new brand that we've talked about a little bit on here called Backer. Brand new brand for Ohio State apparel. They're tremendous. They got some sweet hats. Boom, right there. But they're premium jackets and hats. They're going to cost a little more. They got a premium price to them, but they're a premium product. They're made with better materials. And if you like that sweet hunting, fishing, golfing, skiing gear, like I wore their windbreaker the other day to my son's soccer game, and it was tremendous. And so it's pronounced BK or BCKR.com. That's Backer, BCKR.com. Go there. When you buy something, a proportion of the proceeds goes back to Ohio State athletes. So they're taking care of the players while they're getting you some great gear. And if you use promo code Bobby, all caps BOBBY, you'll get expedited free shipping. So how about that? They're going to take care of you and get you the product faster. Great for Mother's Day. We got Father's Day coming up, graduation presents. All of it's there for you. Go check them out, my guys. Backer, BCKR. All right. We got some news. The quarterbacks, where do they stand as per Ryan Day coming out of spring? Coming up next. All right, welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show. And like I told you, we talk a little bit about spring ball. Ryan Day at the presser announced everything that was going on. where people were. And he made the comment, Lincoln Keenholz probably played better through the first 14 practices, probably had a slight lead going in the spring game. All the guys played pretty well in the spring game. Lincoln started out a little shaky, and so Julian maybe outplayed him, but Lincoln finished strong and it was a good day. But probably back to even-ish, I would say. But it was fairly close the whole time. It wasn't like Lincoln was great and Julian was bad. I just think Lincoln played a little better, especially in some of the live settings. And then you get under the setting where it's in front of 40,000 people. I think maybe Julian played a little bit better. And so people put a lot of stock in that because they could see it. But when you're doing drive-by Schlegs, it's a lot different than actually being hit, where probably Lincoln maybe edged him out a little bit more. So they're going to have a big summer to ultimately dive into this, get the work done. And like Ryan's solution goes, you got to let the guys play a lot, because the more they play, the more it reveals itself, and the more it reveals itself to the coaches and to the players. Oh, and you're muted. You muted yourself, Schlegs. Don't curse. Don't curse. Don't curse.
I said Schnikes.
Be a professional.
I said Schnikes. Here's the thing. I think it is in the best interest of the team, and you have to also allow them to work this out. Lincoln, guys, 3-sport athlete in high school, very athletic. Every single time he's gaining more and more confidence and rhythm in the system. Again, another year, obviously going to be slightly different. I love the competitiveness of this room. I think they got to see Will and how he carried himself in the room amongst, in the midst of a battle going into that year. I think that Camp, the most prepared guy in camp, knowing what their weaknesses were coming out of spring, that's kind of the barometer of spring. It's like, where are you now? And then how much can I improve from now until camp, improve in camp, and then where we go into the season? These guys both know. I think it's great that they still are. It's competitive. It's not to where one person is declared the starter or not, or they even perceive that somebody's better or not. I think they both feel that they're on equal footing, maybe better than each other, which is fine. But you need that. You want them to have that voice as they go through the summer. Who's going to be the one that's leading the 7-on or the skull pass scale that they do on their own? Like, you want to see.
They still do that? I don't think they even do that anymore, Schleich.
No, they go out and they throw routes, and they do those things. They do their own.
Yeah, well, they throw routes. I don't think they have pass skelly and those different things.
No. I mean, you remember how it was in our summer, Bob? Like, sometimes we'd go out there and it's like
it was 20 years ago. They have OTAs and stuff now, so they'll go throw routes. But I don't think Mick wants them to do anything competitive.
No,
so for fear guys will be getting hurt. What do you say to the fact, Schleich, that there's people out there that'll make the comment, well, Ryan already knows it's going to be Julian. Like, he's just dragging this out so that Lincoln doesn't leave.
Yeah, no, I don't think that. I don't think that's in his mindset as to the why. I think he's very open, because here's the deal. You can't play favorites at Ohio State. You have to play the guy that's going to give you the best opportunity to win. He has to feel unequivocally, good about that decision, because the guys in the room know. And again, we have seen Julian's ball, and everybody's like, oh man, like the way he throws, his quick release, etc., throws a good catchable ball, whatever. But it's really who's going to be the guy that leads the team. And we even saw in Will, as the season progressed, deep balls got better. And he was one of the best at the end of the season of balls thrown over 50 yards, completion percentage. That grew throughout the season. So it's not that Julian is the guy and I'm doing it to keep him here. He's already going to be here, right? He's here. He's in the mix. He would have left already if he thought that this was a foregone conclusion that Julian Saint was going to be the guy, right? It is okay. But like, I think that they both are going in with the mindset that I have to go win the job. And right now, nobody has won the job. I've won it in certain areas. I've won it in this area. This guy beat me in this area. Nobody has won the job. The best player will play when you're dealing with a person at Ohio State.
You're right, and 100%. I don't think Ryan's saying that. That's not lip service. Like, Lincoln's looked really good at times. There's a lot of days where he looked better than Julian. And honestly, Schleich, he's a physically bigger guy. And he provides the element of athleticism. So when you get in a live setting, he can handle hits a little better.
Yes.
And he's been through it. He's played a little more in this offense. Not a ton because Julian came in obviously right away, and Lincoln didn't come in the spring. He finished up and didn't enroll until June. But the physical component of it, how much do you put on that, Schlegs, before we get out of here? We got headlines coming up.
Yeah, I mean,
But as you see, like his physical stature of what he provides as a dude, Lincoln versus Julian.
Well, we saw like Julian. I mean, guys, Will Howard is a very, very big guy. We saw Julian when he came in immediately after he transferred from Alabama. I mean, did nothing there. Like under 200 pounds, okay? And he's now around 210. Like, how do you get him up to a weight that he can handle to be able to absorb that? St. Clair, bigger body guy.
Tavian's huge. Tavian's the biggest of all of them.
He's the biggest of all, man. He could put a lot more on his frame even. And then you look at Lincoln, who is thick, he's dense, and he's athletic. And we saw kind of like, what did that do for Will, where he was able just to move the chains? He didn't get sacked a ton, right? So but you're going to have that element. You got 2 new tackles, whatever. Interior is good. Yeah. But like, can you take a shot? Can you move the change? Can you have take some hits? We got to see that, right? I think again, that's why it's like, it's not a foregone conclusion that Lincoln could be the guy. Julian still has to mature physically along with mentally to be able to handle the offense, to be able to sustain that type of run. 12 game with a 1 game and a 1 game, different than a playoff run and, in a championship, potentially in a conference championship game.
Yeah, it's a big deal, but you've got to be able to have that size. You don't need to be huge, but you need to have a certain degree of muscularity, if you will, Schlegs.
Absorb impact, man.
Yeah, Pat threw in the chat, girthy, if you will. You need to be girthy, but also with that strength, that size can give you some strength, ability to pull out of tackles, pull out of sacks in the pocket, and maybe run a little bit. And that the one element we saw this year that Ohio State maybe hadn't had as much as that quarterback run. And I know it's not Chip Kelly's offense, but Brian Hartline probably saw some of that, liked some of that. Lincoln gives you a little more. If you're Julian, how do you make up that delta, the difference between your running and their running? And it's maybe by putting on another 5-7 pounds, so you're thick, you're changing directions better. All right, you got 30 seconds.
I would just say this. One of the best things that Will did is he didn't take sacks. We saw that the year before. Will was a guy that could move out, escape, not just with his feet, but just like his presence. Like one arm wasn't taking Will down. He was still able to make plays and move the ball down the field because of his size. That's something that has to happen at Ohio State.
It does. You got to be able to not take sacks. Sacks put your team in a bad situation, throw the ball away, or get the heck out of the pocket. All right, put a pin in that. Coming next, we got our headlines. Stay tuned, stay locked in for some of the biggest stuff happening in Ohio State and around college football. All right, Schlegs. Now we're to our headlines brought to you by our guys over at Lake Spur Marketing, full service ad agency built on trust, strategy, performance. Lake Spur is tremendous. I've seen them work with a lot of different companies. They will shield your team from the outside noise, the unwanted contacts, the cold callers, and they'll do what you do best. They let you work on the business. You don't have to work. Check that. Work in the business, not on the business, and a little bit of both, back and forth, Schlegs. With more than 100, it's actually, I butchered that. It's tough to work. You can't work
in the business and work on the business.
You can't work on the business. So Lake Spur will help you do that. Gosh, that was not a smooth transition at all.
Yeah,
you got over 100 years of marketing experience. So they're going to eliminate the waste and deliver on time and on budget. They don't chase clicks. They help build partnerships. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in their partners. All right, one of the partners at Ohio State, my guy Matt Patricia. And I texted him the last night, Schlegs. He's on the road this week. I think next week we'll be able to get him on the show. Really excited for him to be popping on and just getting exposure because he's been in the NFL game and he hasn't been part of the college. So doing some recruiting, people have found him very likable. I think the players love him, and we'll get into some of the stuff that Ryan has talked about as well tomorrow. Write this down, Pat. And remember this, Schlegs, about Ryan Day when he was in the presser talking about him meeting with his players about the players' relationship with their position coach, with their coordinator, how that looks, and filling out a survey, like ranking it. And someone, Beam goes, "Do you think that's anonymous?" I go, "I don't think so. I think they filled out and talked to Ryan. And it's like, I want to know about your guy. You tell me about him." So with that, Matt Patricia talked a little bit about like the championship DNA of this team and the approach that they've been taking. And this is a guy who just got here, by the way. So it's not like he has history with any of these players.
Said that they want the championship stuff taken down. They don't want to see it. What does that say about this team, this group, especially the returners, and why is that significant?
I think it's a really mature approach by them. I think one of the great things about football, whatever level you're at, it's different than other sports. It's different than boxing. Like when you win a championship in boxing, the next time you step in the ring, you step in as the champ and you have to defend your title. When you win a championship in football, the next time you step on the field, it's something new. It's a new season. It's a new team. You have to start over. You're not defending anything. What you won, you won. Like that can't be taken away from you. That was last season. So I think it's a really mature approach by them for, sit there and say, hey, look, it's about going forward. We can't look back. It's about going forward. It's about building the journey this year to try to get back to where we want to be. But you have to start all over again, and you got to start at the bottom. So that's a great mentality.
So that's how Bill Belichick always was. Like you start this season, new season, new everything. Like you don't just jump and speed up. And that's what I think a lot of Ohio State fans are like, listen, this team, they've been close. They've been knocking on the door. They barely lost to Georgia. They lose to Michigan, who's the eventual national champ. Like just get to the playoff. We got the process. And Ryan always talks about the process of going through it and the type of guys you want and all those different things. But you have to work your way through it. And in the champ, you're defending your title. But each season as a new iteration, and everything's going to be a little different. Maybe the offense is a little better. Maybe you're better at the run game this year. Maybe you're a little better in the second level of the defense, not as veteran or deep on the defensive line. And so building all that and understanding what your strengths are, who your leaders are, that happens each and every year, Schlegs, as you cultivate this situation.
Yeah, 100%, Bob. And I think coaches have that mindset because you can't say, oh, I wish I had that guy back. No, it's about developing the guys that you currently have to be able to allow them to have success in a new season. Coaches have always understood that. It's great that these players do. But it also stems from a leadership. It stems from the guys that were in the rooms prior to them as to what is their standard. And now they have an opportunity of setting their own standard. As Matt said, and I really do like him being here at Ohio State. I remember all of the dialogue prior to him coming here. And I'm just really happy that you and I both know that we were correct.
Yeah, because Matt Patricia's a good dude, man. He's a really smart coach. Number one, he's a great communicator, and he is an egoless guy. When you have guys like that on your staff that are smart, relate well, and don't have big egos, well, you're going to probably have a pretty good coaching staff. And so it's a great addition with Matt Patricia to join in. All right, that is it for this edition of Headlines, brought to you by Lake Spur Marketing. Now we've got our Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends over at Real Truck, Schlegs, where we have to answer your questions. So listen, throw them in the chat. If you're watching on Twitter, throw them on there. You can throw them at us anywhere, Schlegs. You always say, throw it on my face, I think is your answer. The questions, the comments, the fluids, all of it there for our guy Schlegs coming up next. All right, Schlegs. Now we're into our Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends over at Real Truck. And did I tell you I hooked the winch up the other day?
You did?
Got the batteries hooked on it, utilizing that thing. So listen, it's time to bring it to life. I'm going to have to use it to help rip down I'm going to cut a tree branch down. I'll use it. I'll my son run the winch, which will be good for him instead of him leaning in because he only weighs about $150. So the winch and the Jeep will provide a better anchor for him. And hopefully my wife will be able to hold the ladder instead of leaving me to die up in the tree. But Real Truck.
With the chainsaw.
Yeah, exactly. She jumps away like the branch falls 4 feet from her. I'm like, I'm 15 feet in the air with a 22-inch chainsaw blade, maybe 24, spinning by me, and you're jumping out of the way as if like this branch that isn't all that big is going to hit you, which it wasn't even close. So asked, one of the questions was thrown in here for you, and since you're coaching extraordinaire, any good camps in Ohio for high school linemen?
Did you see that? I just answered him. I was like, I don't know. I'll have to find out. But I mean, Ohio State football has a camp, obviously. I do think there's like an offensive line challenge or something that Straight Dog Fitness and another company is putting on, probably at the Fortress and Obetz. I know that's sometime around, but that I don't know. I mean, we obviously, Jay does a phenomenal job here at the Armory training. We have a bunch of guys that are playing Division I college football that are offensive linemen. And again, I think that's something that you got to go look at all those avenues. So why don't you email me, Schlegs at We Are the Armory, and is that Brad Schlegs at We Are the Armory. I got you. I'll figure it out for you.
I'll figure it out for you, Schlegs. Another question that I'm sure people are dying to ask. You know, Ryan Day's a pretty young guy. He's about our age. He might be a year or two older than you.
Yeah, I think he's 46, 47.
Let's say in 28 years, if he's at Ohio State and dating a 24-year-old, how do you think that would strike you? I mean, let's assume Nina, like, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't.
It sounds terrible.
I love Nina. Let's just say Ryan turns into Bill Belichick, and what happens there? We'll have to ask Matt Patricia that. He's coached for both of these guys now. What's your thoughts, Schlegs, about maybe you getting a 24-year-old Twinkie when you're Roger's age? Has your dad talked to you about this?
No, man. I mean, no, he has not. That is quite amazing. You know, just probably want to stay young. You know, I don't know many Viagra's or Cialis she got going down there, but hey, at least you know she has her back. She's put in a bunch of trademark things of his sayings, like "I'm helping you."
Flip over to some of those sweet sayings, Pat.
Yeah, these sayings are amazing. Like that's what we're alluding to, and I like this. The Chapel Bill. Honestly,
Chapel Bill.
Do your job. Obviously, Bill's version. I want to know what that kind of version is. Like, is there like a font or something? Because there's Bill's versions of these. Because a lot of these other ones were trademarked by the New England Patriots because he's been there for a long time. Peachy Keen and Wonderful. I never have heard that. The all-time.
There's nothing about Bill that's peachy keen and wonderful. By the way,
there is no way. Really he's so melatonin.
Monotone.
Melatonin. Yeah, I probably need some of those. Saving Miss Daisy. I wonder what that is for. Like, I've heard of Driving Miss Daisy. Morgan Freeman was in that one, if I'm not mistaken.
He was the driver. He was the one that drove Miss Daisy.
But I don't know about Saving Private Ryan, and also the other version, Saving Ryan's Privates. I'm disappointed that those aren't on here. But yeah, so again, guess what? She's thinking about Papa Bill.
The Trail of Salty Tears.
Yeah.
That's like great. That. That sounds.
And we had something on the show.
You said you love salty fluids. That's one of your favorite things. So we'll just leave it at that. And we're going to take a break from our headlines our Tailgate Talk brought to you by Real Truck. And we're going to wrap up the show with some parting thoughts of one, Mr. Anthony Schlegel Valley, coming up next. All right, Schlegs, here we go. You got about a minute or two. Let's wrap up.
Yeah, throw that on there. Yeah, exactly, man. The OSU women's tennis team, Big Ten champs. You had lacrosse. You had the men. You got the ladies. Just a culture of champions here at Ohio State. Great job to all of them. Great job. Hey, Ross Bjork, again, our athletic department is doing what you got to do at Ohio State. We win. Kudos to them for winning a Big Ten championship.
Well done. Kudos to the ladies tennis team, the men's tennis team, the men's lacrosse team, even the women's lacrosse team did really well this year, Schlegs. And that was your former squad that you used to train after you stopped training football. So a lot of great stuff there. I appreciate it today. Thank you for tuning in. We got a big show coming for you tomorrow, so stay locked into the Bobby Carpenter Show.